Nice to see you. To see you, nice. Good evening. Fellow travellers of the world. Hello. Okay, we're up and we're working. Woohoo! Nice to see you. To see you, nice. Before we start talking, I always like to sit in silence. I just do a bit of advertisement, as I'm sure that you're ecstatic to be advertised to. I know how much people love adverts. So what's the advertisement? The advertisement is, I do these talks every Wednesday and Sunday at 6 p.m. French time. You're very welcome to join, and you ask questions through Skype. My Skype address is Lisa Cairns 12. It's in the box below the address. And you can either write questions or you can call in and ask me a question. Yes, but make sure you've got a headset and a good internet. What else? Always check my website before the stream, because sometimes I don't do the stream or I'm traveling, and if you check it, it will tell you when I'm doing them or not under the live stream section. Again, that's in the box below, I think, that information. If you'd like to join an event that I'm doing, the next event I'm doing is in May 2020. Sounds very sci-fi, doesn't it? 2020. And that's in the south of Spain, where I often go. It's an eco retreat center, so it's different from your normal retreat center. So if you're wanting luxury and 5-star treatment and people coming in and cleaning your room and making your bed and leaving little flowers on your pillow, then go to Bali. This isn't it. It's really beautiful, but it's an eco resort. So it's all organic and vegetarian, and solar panel heating and electricity and fire heating. Yeah, it's really beautiful. When I stay there, I stay in a tree house. And they have mud huts, so that's the type of thing that you stay in. You can see that on my website. I personally love it, but some people don't. So I always feel that they should know what they're getting into before they come. And there's like 3 swimming pools, like a natural swimming pool, a salt swimming pool, or a non-chlorine swimming pool. And it's on a mountain edge. So that's the 23rd of May to the 30th, and it's a really beautiful time of the year to go. That's that. What else? If you like this video, please make sure you give it a thumbs up. This is very important for Google. They want the thumbs up. And of course, which speaker doesn't like thumbs up and post the thumbs down? Or YouTuber. So now we just do 5, 10, 15 minutes silence. My favourite part of the talk. I love doing that bit. So the assumption is that you exist, that you're somebody, a separate entity that's inside the body, that you're a soul, that you're somebody that's looking out at this world. And this is what creates suffering, this idea that you are separate, that you're somebody experiencing life. Whereas in actuality, who you are is this moment, is what's happening right here, right now, in this moment. And that also means that there is nobody that's doing your life. There's nobody that's acting your life. There is no doer inside of these bodies. So in every moment there is thoughts, there's feelings, there's impulses arising, but there isn't actually somebody that's doing that. It's a happening. It's a happening. Before no one, there isn't actually someone that's there. There is simply this happening. This is it, baby. Talk done. This is it. But even that can become a new dogma. It become a new religion of there is no I. I'm not an I walking around in this body. I'm not anybody. There is no doer. Even that can become something for you. Tony Parsons says, if you leave this room with something, then you've completely misunderstood what the talk's about. Like it's also all conceptual. So then if we just point directly back to the experience, like what is happening now? Like what is happening before what you tell yourself is happening. So you're telling yourself, I'm sitting here listening to Lisa and I like it or I don't like it. There is a blue and pink screen. There is light. There is a window. I am hungry. Whatever it is that you're telling yourself. And what else is there? So you're so focused on the stories that you're telling yourself. Maybe you're grumbling about someone at work. They did this today or they did that today, or who do they think they are? Tomorrow I'm going to say this to them. And then once I said this to them, I'm going to say that to them. And so that is so close. It feels like that's who you are. So you have this image of yourself. So when you're saying, I'm going to say that to them, You kind of like feel like this person, and then you have this image of this person and this image of this person saying that. But notice that there's something else that's here, that's not a dogma, that's not about no I or this I or that I or Christianity or Hinduism or Buddhism. There is just something experiencing itself freely. And it's so free. And that's who you are. And it's not containable. It's not something I can teach you verbally. You can't understand this. But yet, miraculously, you are it. And everywhere you go, everything you look at reflects that back. But for the human, they're so interested in their story of themselves and the thoughts of themselves and the emotions of themselves that that's where their world is. Their world is in this waking dream. It's not really in what's happening in the windows, in the light, in the room, and it's not in the consciousness, but it's in this realm of what you think about life and what you think about yourself and what you think about this or what you think about that. It's in this halfway house. So what else is there? And you'll notice that everything is here. And there's also this looking, this experiencing, and this sense of existence that you are. And this is your home. This is like the flag in the middle of the moon, at this still place. Where everything around it's moving, everything around it's coming and going, but this still flag of you, it never changes. There is always everything, and there is always this looking. And this sense of existence. And the person's pulled into what it thinks or what it feels, and then pulled into trying to create a better future with better feelings and better experiences. And it's like on this path to betterdom. Where are you off to? Betterdom. What do you want to better? Everything. Everything. But it can never arrive because you're always imagining yourself on the path, and you're imagining where you've come from, and you're imagining where you're going to. So you never arrive. It's always frustrating. And your arrival is prior to the person or beyond the person. It's right here in this. It's so simple, this message. It's so simple what's being talked about that it's overlooked by the mind. The mind wants to make it into something really complex. And when I do talks, people ask me things that bend my mind up and down. Not so much anymore. After doing it for 9 years, you kind of get used to it. But in the beginning, I'd be like, you what? Come again? Encore? So how do you get to this? So the mind is like, oh, okay, so this is it. This is what I'm looking for. So how do I, the person, arrive at this? How does that happen? How do I get on the boat to here, to this moment? The train to this moment? Boop, boop. And that's the really impossible thing and the really unlikable thing about non-duality. What people don't want to hear is that you don't arrive here. You can never arrive here, no matter what you do, no matter how many times you run around the moon, you're always here. No matter how many times you climb Arunachala, how many prostrations you do, how many times you go to India, how many times you see gurus or sit in satsang, you can't make this happen. You can't ever arrive here because you are here. You are this. It's not yours on the human level to grab hold of. You on the human level is appearing in that which you are. But it's funny how these words become like rhetoric, like repeated again and again. I've said this so many times, and it becomes undeep when it's really, really deep what's being said. Like it's really profound, but like I can hear the seekers, not you guys, but seekers in general that aren't you in particular. But I can hear people saying, yeah, but. Now I've got to do nothing. That's the goal, is that I've got to do nothing. I've got to look for nothing. Do nothing. Seek for nothing. Want nothing. I've got to put my attention in the I am. I've got to put my attention in consciousness and stay right there. What you can seem to do, even though this isn't a prescription, this is a description of something that can happen, is putting your attention in to the I am or to consciousness, and also becoming aware of what you feel. And all of this is on the human level. It's not going to lead you to non-duality, but what it's going to do is relax the person. And then it opens up space for non-duality to be heard. Like when you're really suffering and contracted and tight, how can you hear that this is it? So that's something that can happen. But again, it's not a prescription, because who would do it? Who would put their attention in the I am? Who would investigate their emotions? Like see that either happens or it doesn't. Thoughts and impulses appear for that to happen or not. Okay, I'll move on to some questions now. Hello. Hi, Isabel. Hi, Thomas. Hey, Oleg. How to work with sensations in hands and chest? Thanks for your answer. So it was interesting, isn't it, that most of the questions, that I'd say 80 to 90% of all the questions are actually about the person. So when you're asking about how to work on the chest or the hands, that's asking about the body and the person. It's not asking about non-duality, and it's not that through working with these sensations you're going to get to non-duality, because who gets to non-duality? Who awakens? So, but with all sensations in the body, I don't know so much what's going on with your hands, but that might also be an effect of the heart. So I work more on the chakras, and the rest of the body is affected by the chakras. But you can just put your attention into the chakras. So put your attention into your heart. Just feel that in your chest. What does it feel like? So just get curious about it. Does it feel like it's burning? Does it feel pleasurable or painful or tight or aching? And what type of emotion is there? Is there any emotion there? Do you have emotion there? So just getting curious about what's happening. And so say I'm just going to do answers for you so I can do this for myself. So say if you say, yes, I feel sadness there. So then I would say, do you have any sense of what the sadness is about? Maybe you can relate it to something that happened at work. And my boss told me off and I feel embarrassed about it and ashamed. And I keep going around on the stories about it. And then I say, well, how does it make you feel that your boss did that? Like when you were in that moment, how did it make you feel? Like small, so I'm just giving your answer, small, worthless, like I'm a nobody, like I've not got importance, like he doesn't listen to me, that I can't do anything right. And so then I would ask, have you experienced that in other areas of your life? Do you remember experiencing that as a child a lot? or with girlfriends, or at school. Yes, I used to feel it often at school. My teachers used to bully me. And I was often afraid about going into class because I couldn't keep up with the work. So then just feel that. Just feel that pain of it. And remember, and then I might ask you for one particular memory. I won't say that now because it's not my memory, but I might ask you for one particular memory, and it will more than likely encourage the sensation in your chest. So it will burn even more. And then I will say, go deeper into that sadness. Like, what underneath does it feel like below the sadness? Feels like I can't do anything right, like I'm not seen. And then I would say, so what does it make you feel like to be not seen? Like, what, if people don't see you, what does that mean to you? It means I'm not worth anything. And so to me, that would be the basic feeling, or one of the basic feelings that you can feel in the heart, is feeling unworthy. I'm not worthy. So then I might encourage you to just say that a few times, like, I'm not worthy, I'm not worthy, I'm not worthy. Just feeling that sensation and feeling the heat of it, and just connecting in your mind that when you're having all these thoughts during the day, that they're affecting your body. And actually the feelings feel more real than the thoughts. Notice how that if you didn't have the feelings, you most probably wouldn't believe in the thoughts, that the fear and the anxiety or the worthlessness is like the kick to the thought. It like really makes it feel real. So just notice that there's a part of you that believes that these feelings are true and that thoughts are true, that you're actually worthless, which isn't the case at all. I'm not talking particularly about you, Oleg, because you're just writing, I feel joy. Oh well, I'm doing this for someone else then. So just see that's all happening, and just really allow it to be there, the sensation to be there. You feel worthless. And then begin to ask yourself, once you've really allowed it and given it space, begin to ask yourself, what is it that you want? Like, if you could have anything in this moment, what is it that you'd want? And maybe it's to feel loved, to feel appreciated, to feel included, to feel seen, to feel worthy, to feel like you have something to give. So another thing that you can do is you can go into that memory of being at school. Or you don't even have to go to the one at school. You can go to the memory of work. So it starts off at work. That happened a few days ago when your boss was being rude to you. And then I want you to imagine how you'd have wanted that conversation to go, not in a horrible way, like punishing him or anything, but how you'd have wanted it to go in him seeing you, that you're worthy, him seeing your worthiness. So like, what compliments would you like to hear from your boss? Like, how would you like him to speak to you? So imagine you say you'd like him to say you're doing a great job and he's so glad that you're at the company and he's going to give you a promotion and a bonus. And then just notice how that area in your chest begins to change. and transform. As you begin to imagine all these things and see that what's happening in our body-mind is that unconsciously we're telling a story of ourselves. We're not conscious of it, but every time we're interacting with others, we're telling a story and we're actually dictating the way they see us. If you keep going into a situation feeling already worthless or afraid that you're going to get into trouble, then more than likely you're going to call that into you. And this is such a beautiful healing experience, doing this. That this is the way that you begin to pick up your chakras and know your chakras and understand your chakras and seeing some unconscious stories that are there and changing the energy in them. Thank you, Oleg, for that question. I think it's really beautiful start to the talk, so thank you for that. Hi Gilad. Hi Lisa. Question for the live. How to best ignite the fire of the will and to apply it to self-realization, self-actualization, while also going deeper in self-realization? Would you say this it awareness is ultimately free will itself, like pure, original, impersonal free will? So will, in England it's a name as well, will. So free, not will, but the fire of will, like determination, to me comes from the chakra. So from the chakras, from the solar plexus chakra. And so what you have to do to stimulate will is to stimulate the third chakra, the solar plexus. The way you can stimulate that is you can do Osho chakra breathing meditation. If you go to my website under references, you'll find that. Offer Osho chakra meditation breathing. And this helps stimulate the chakras. And also getting to know the psychology of that chakra. So the psychology of that chakra is, so the solar plexus is the feeling that you can choose, that you can do something. That you have free will, that you can arrive. that you're allowed to arrive, that you're entitled to arrive, that you can accomplish things. And in its negative, it's anger, frustration, helplessness, hopelessness, a feeling of stuck, that you can't do it, that nothing works out, that you have no choices, that you're trapped. So that's it in its negative. And also often when people have low will or low determination, it's because that chakra is out of balance. So it's stimulating that chakra. So there's stages of like changing these chakras. You have to first of all see that it's not true. And that sounds a lot easier than it actually is. So if you get a feeling of hopelessness, that you can't do something, you more than likely take it to be real, but you're not even aware that you're believing it's real. It just becomes real to you. Just like if somebody put a tint of blue in your eyes, you would suddenly swear that everything in the room has turned blue. And everyone's going, no, you've got a tint on your eyes, there's colour, and you're, no, it's blue, it's blue. So when like the feeling of lack of will appears and like arises in the body, your mind takes it to be true. So your mind then like jumps on the bandwagon. So you're thinking, and who knows what comes first, the feeling or the thought? Maybe the thought stimulated the feeling, but then the mind really jumps on the bandwagon. And what that means is it's like really like getting out its lasso. And it really goes for it, and it will start telling you how the situation is hopeless, and maybe reminding you of hopeless situations or what someone did to you that made you feel hopeless. And it depends on like how aware you are, because sometimes people are having those thoughts and arguing with someone in their head, but if you ask them how they are, they would say they were good, and they wouldn't really know they're having those thoughts. It sounds really weird when you've become really aware of your thoughts. So some people aren't even really aware that they're thinking, and they kind of feel that that's real, and they also aren't aware of it at the same time. So you first of all, the first stage of it is just becoming aware of the thoughts, and then also being able to place it to the feeling. Like, so that you're having thoughts of hopelessness or laziness, of lack of energy, and then placing it to your chakra and noticing that simultaneously you're having pain in the solar plexus. But you might not even notice you're having pain there because you're so used to it being tight or used to being in your head, you don't put much attention down there. But when you really put attention there, you might feel like you've got a rock in your solar plexus, or like it's all tense and tight. And the reason it's tense and tight is because of that thinking. So it's then like trying to realize that when you have those types of thoughts, that area in your body is in the negative and in pain, and that neither are true. The feeling, the pain, or the thoughts, none of them are true. They're what's currently arising in your body, but it doesn't mean the way life is going to be. So maybe you're having thoughts, that you can't make it, that at work you haven't got enough energy, or you can't do something, or there's all types of stories going on about it, or that you can't make liberation. Maybe that's your story. And you have to see through that. That's not the way it is. And that's really deep, actually, to do that. To get to that stage where you can connect the thoughts to the feelings, and you can knowingly see that it's not true. So you can be having an intense feeling of hopelessness or failure. And you, like at first, when you first start out, you might think it's exhaustion, but actually underneath exhaustion, you realize it's hopelessness and failure. So you have these feelings, but you can see that it's not true. So you can see what your mind is doing. You can see that it's projecting hopelessness and failure energy, but you totally see that that's not the way it is. Even if your boss is shouting at you or telling you off, you totally see that you're not hopeless and you're not a failure. It's simply a feeling arising, and it will pass. When I was a lot younger and I was with my teacher, I remember I would have feelings. This is so hard for me to remember, and I forget to teach these things because it's so distant in my memory. But So say if I had like a dark feeling, I felt like that was the way my life always was. So if I was like depressed, I'd be like, I'm always like this, I'm always depressed, I'm stuck in the depression. And it was like in those moments, I couldn't remember life without it. I can only see darkness and like a sad story. Or if I was in a story that people take advantage of me or something, that was all I could see. And I remember like my teacher, Roger Castillo, said to me, I was in the flower bed doing gardening, and he said, it's just a thought that it's always like that. It's not true. And I know that sounds so obvious, but it really like pierced something. It really like hit me, and I was like, oh yeah. Like it's not always true. But it was like before that, when these depressive or angry or upset thoughts came, I felt like it's always like that, and that's the way it is. My whole life has been like that. And then he was like, it's not actually true. You feel like that now, but that's not how your whole life is. And that was me beginning to really step away from my feelings and really see that they're not a reality. Like they can't just engulf me and present themselves as true, as the way things are. We still got, yeah. So then it's seeing that they're not the truth. There's something that comes and goes, and then you can put energy once you've really established it and you've really detached from them. Like there is real clear seeing through it that it's not reality. Then you can begin to put it into the positive. What is it that you want to feel? So on the surface, it might present itself as exhaustion, but underneath it's most probably something like failure or stuckness, fear that you can never do it, that you're in a cage. And then it's coming to that thought, and what is it that you actually want? Like you want to feel like a success. You want to feel like you can achieve things. You can do things. And then you can go back to traumatic memories, and you can remember things where somebody was telling you a failure, and you can bring that into memory, and then you can transform that memory, like reimagine it in a positive way. So say your parents used to often tell you you're a failure and like scold you about marks at school or something, and were really perfectionist and always on your case. You can remember one of those times, and then you can remember transforming it, like somebody coming in and saying, that's not an appropriate way to speak to your son. Like the appropriate way is to say your good qualities, and like really like telling your dad off or telling your mum off, and then your dad apologizing, and then your dad telling you all your good qualities. And this can be super healing to change the chakra. But this is all on the human level. This doesn't lead you to non-duality. This is on the human level. And this will never end in a way. Like what will happen is there will be less investment in it, like when you're really identified with that, and then the seeking gets more and the feelings get more and the chakras go more into the negative. But having feelings and traumas and all of that will never end. The freedom from it is detaching completely and seeing that who you are is life itself, is this looking. But it seems like there has to be a relaxation of all those dynamics. Like if you're constantly in hell, you can't hear this other possibility, that not that it's you that hears, but it's like this big weight of a person that's suffering is just so taking up so much space that this idea or this energy that's trying to like communicate that there is something bigger than you that's free just feels like nonsense. There's no connection to it because you're so involved in seeking. Because when your chakras are really closed and dense, it tends to be that you have lots of seeking energy, and that seeking energy pulls you into identification. The seeking energy is you're trying to avoid what's happening or what's going on. So even though this is on the human level, it seems to be what has to happen or goes hand in hand with waking up. But I just try to make it clear that the you that's doing this, that appearance of you that's like going into feelings and doing all these things, isn't actually a doer and doesn't actually inherently exist as a separate person. It's something that's being experienced and coming and going in who you are. And it's not about fixing all your chakras. That would just become a new big seeking game. But making them more balanced is really wise. And it's socially kind that everyone like tidies up their chakras. And maybe it's like you have to an extent go through this process on the human level before awakening happens, because like life can manifest in multiple possibilities, and anything really can happen. So whatever I say isn't fixed. But like if I just think about people that I meet that are really unconscious, so really unconscious, where they really don't know what they think and feel, which to me is a lot of people. Even people in spirituality, they really don't know what they think or feel because they have a story of who they want to be. So they want to be a kind person. So when they're sitting there seething in anger, they're telling themselves how much they love everybody, and they can't connect to their body. They can't feel in their body that their body is like, "Rah!" They have this story, oh yes, aren't they wonderful? Da, da, da. And so it does seem like there has to be this, on the human level, this getting real, like coming back to being like more of a simple human on the human level, and not like living such a big daydream of self, or a strong daydream. So it's almost like the sense of self has to lighten up, become thinner in order for the shift to happen. More than likely that is the way it happens. I mean, that's what all the sutras in Buddhism and in Hinduism, the Vedas, all imply that you have to do preparation work. But modern non-duality tends to dismiss that, which is true to an extent. Like I can really hear modern non-duality, which is what I teach as well, is that it's not about, giving your life to an ashram for the rest of your life, or having perfect chakras, or being a perfect person. It really isn't. But there does need to be, to an extent, settling down. Dune. Would you say this it awareness is ultimately free will itself, like pure original impersonal free will? You can name it how you like, but consciousness doesn't have free will. It's not sitting there and saying, "Ooh, I'm going to make Gilad do this today or that today." And you're never going to get to the point where you can find that free will, which we describe as somebody in there like, "Ooh, I'm going to do this." It's just creating spontaneously. So, I mean, if you want to name that as free will, like it's doing whatever it wants, but it's a bit personified, like you're trying to personify divinity, whereas it's really mystery and unnameable, and it's a happening. And free will is maybe a way too tiny word to put on it. Too petite. Thank you for your question, Gilad. Pedro. Hi, Pedro. Hi, Lisa. I'm Pedro from Portugal and would like to be an active listener of your non-dual live stream. Can you accept my Skype invitation? Ram. Yes. Hello. Hi, Martin. Hi, Lisa. I was pondering the question, when I have meditation, I often find myself confused afterwards. Like my job, all of a sudden, I can't do moderate tasks. It's as if I have forgotten it and kind of have to rely on something else to finish the task. Is that normacy, or am I being delusional when I meditate? agitated. Hi Lisa, I was pondering the question. When I have meditation, I often find myself confused afterwards, like my job all of a sudden. I can't do moderate task. It's as if I've forgotten it and kind of have to rely on something else to finish the task. I don't know, Martin. What's happening there? Too hard for me to try to imagine. Dear. You can have all types of experiences, so who knows what's happening there. Like sometimes think something that can happen when you begin to touch into like who you truly are is that your mind ceases to function in the way it was. So if you're doing something very mental, that could mean that it's hard. Like you can really begin to let go of all forms and knowledge and information. It's beautiful. Hi, Simon. Hello, dear Lisa. Nice to see you again. What you said about the seeker is true and at the same time sad. Seems like mind likes play. I love the way you are and the moments I truly am aware of I, free and full of love and being in the middle of physical or mental pain, as I truly am life with all those plays and without them. Thanks, Simmin, for your question. I don't know what was sad. I can't remember what I said. Or comment. Maybe I said question, comment. What to do with apathy when I need to work on myself? I think apathy, Oleg, is the same as, whose question was it? Gilad. Like it comes from the solar plexus. You can just rewind this video and go back to Gilad and listen to that part of the talk. Nice. That's all the questions on Skype for the moment, so I'm just happy to sit here silently, or if someone wants to ask or speak. Thanks, Simin, for comment. Hi, Deanna. Hi, Lisa. I was wondering if you could talk a bit about focus. I've been noticing identification with what moves the focus, and I seem to somewhat confuse about this. A lot of contractions in the body seem to be tied to it, even though I can see that no one is really moving it and it's just a happening. Could you talk about the focus work? How the focus works? Thanks. Sure, Deanna. So It's really amazing because to me, the way I phrase it is we have these two things happening. We've got the big consciousness of who you are, and then you've got personal awareness. And the personal awareness seems like the most intimate thing. It feels like you have the choice to move your attention to your third eye, your head, your big toe, out into the world if there's a noise outside, or in your hand, or in your fingertips. And it feels like you have that it's yours, and that you're doing it. That your responsibility is to put that in the most appropriate place that will be beneficial to you, listening to others, or in your feelings, or in work or study. And even though it feels like it belongs to someone, it actually belongs to consciousness. And consciousness is who you are, and that's where it gets confused. So you move your attention, so you think, I should put my attention on my sacral chakra or my root chakra. And you think about that, and then you do it, and then you assume that's who you are, whereas actually that's appearing from who you are, that's appearing from this no place, from this alive presence, which is watching, which is experiencing. And that feels like you because it is you, but not you as the thought, or not you as the movement, you as that most intimate sense of being, but it's just really close to it, or it seems really close to it. And what a lot of teachers teach is that you put that focus back in the I am, so you keep moving your attention back to this moment, really. It's like being present, or consciousness, to that which is looking. And that's really beautiful practice. When you're really suffering though, when your chakras are really burning, it's really hard not to run off into thoughts. But notice that that's too happening in the dream. That's something that's being witnessed and experienced, so that can't actually be your true self that's doing it. It's something that comes and goes. So it's a practice for a person, an imagined person. But it also helps settle the person down, and I don't disagree with the practice. But it could also reinforce the idea that you're the doer, which you're not, and that it's your job to wake you up, which it isn't. Because who are you? Thanks, Deanna, for the question. Hi, Natalia. Hello, dear Lisa. Did you have a period of time? I thought the question was going over, did you have a period before your last talk? It's funny what the mind does. Did you have a period of time when you were just sitting in silence and deep meditation for most of the day? And could you please tell us more about coming back to life, to more active functioning? Thank you. Yeah, I did have long periods of time doing that. I was just thinking about that actually. I just remember being in India doing that. And then like everything, it changes. Like, so that happened for a period, for years. And now I do sometimes sitting in silence, but not like I used to. It's just the mind or the body is more interested in doing now. Just the way it is, I can't really tell you. Oh, sorry guys for the yawning. Hi, Enjoy, Gabriella. Hello. Yeah, it was really beautiful sitting in silence. This is from Deanna again. Thanks. I guess the confusion is that if I move the focus on something, there seems to be a grip on the object, but it's different when it just feels seen and then I'm not doing it. Yeah. I don't know what that means, Deanna, but I'm not sure if I need to, but you're welcome to tell me again if you want to. Deanna, yeah, sorry, I find it difficult to explain. It's more with sensation. If I focus on them, it feels like grasping at them and making them worse. But sometimes there's no focus per se, just awareness, and sometimes shifts easily in the body. Yeah. Yeah. It's different for everyone. Right, sometimes some people spend too much time on their emotions, actually, I've realized from working with people. So for some people, they're focusing on presence is actually better. But more often, people don't spend enough time focusing on feelings and they don't know what they feel and they don't know what they want and they're unconscious of them. But some people do, and then it's better to pull yourself back from it. It becomes a habit. You get an endorphin release from addiction to feelings. But I still don't really know what you're asking or what you're trying to get out from me. But maybe I've done it now. I don't know. It's hard to explain your experience to someone, just in words without even me seeing your face and your body language, and then for that other person to understand that and put that into a reply. It's a bit easier when you just ask a direct question. So if it doesn't feel very satisfying, it's because it's sometimes hard to relate to people's experiences, especially through writing when they're writing them, and what they mean by that. Would you say that each chakra, this is from Enjoy, would you say that each chakra has something like a original want or expression? What it really wants to be like? I had experienced this yesterday. There was being present here, and now in the root chakra, pure aliveness and enjoyment in the sacral, just love and being loved as the only one that is in the heart. I recognize that all the personal wants are not really so fulfilling like this original want. Yeah, I would. So there's different things. So each chakra has an original want. And then there's the original want of yourself, of the person. And the original want of the person actually is just to be at home. It's just to be free, is to be who you are. And that manifests in a way in the feeling body as well. But the chakras don't always have to be in positive. That's not freedom. Like, it's not about that. But the chakras do have original wants. And it's all connected to the psychology of the chakras, like what the feelings are there. So the want of the heart is to love. The want of the throat is to express love. The want of the third eye is for compassion, to understand, to see, and this is to connect to something bigger. The sacral, the solar plexus chakra is action, the want for action. I mean, these are just for me. I'm not sure what everyone else would say about this in the chakra world. The sacral chakra is creativity, and the root chakra, I would say, is actually love, like groundedness and this love. So they all have original wants. And then slightly beyond that, or beyond that, is your own heart's want, and your own heart's want is to be home. So this is who you are, right here, right now. And that recognition and that feeling, I think, lifts up the chakras and makes them all vibrate with positivity. Thank you, Enjoy. Hi, Lisa. I have feeling more and more that events that are happening with me are inevitable and I cannot really do much. I also get the feeling that I do not understand exactly how things will turn out ultimately. That if something that is happening right now that I may be feeling good or bad about it will actually turn out to be good or bad later. I don't seem to be in control. It's good feeling because it relieves me, but also makes me feel that I'm just being carried forward in this life without having much say in it. Could you talk about it a little and give some guidance? So on the ultimate level, that's true, and seeing that is really beautiful. And psychologically, it does really relax the person because the person has always been on this mission to arrive. Like, I have to get somewhere, I have to do something. And so it is very relaxing for that part. And for all these thoughts like guilt, blame, shame, pride, like Ramesh say, expectation, like there's expectation on life, like it really dismisses that, this blame that it's their fault, or guilt that it's your fault, or pride, like I did this, or shame, oh God, I did this. Like, because when you really see that you're not the doer, that psychologically ties a lot of unconscious thoughts. So it has truth to it, and in the human world it can have a positivity. But you also have this feeling body, and there's part of your body that like has action in it. Like your solar plexus has action and wants to act and do things. And in that action it feels like it's got free will or choice, that you can choose between the apple or the orange. And you have this heart that wants to love. So when it finds someone it's in love with or fancies, it's like, it doesn't just sit there and be like, life will do what life wants to do. It's like, love, love, love. So on the ultimate level, that's true. And psychologically, I think it can have a big relaxation. But on the bodily level, it's not quite true. But the chakras, when they're in balance, they're very subtle. And it's just coming to aware of this. The chakras have wants. When you're hungry, you go to eat. When you want sexuality, you go to sex. When you want to work, there's creativity. So there's those two different levels. But on the ultimate level, it's nobody that's doing that. Like your chakras aren't you. Your chakras are something that's appearing in this. It's not somebody's chakras. Interesting. Deanna. I don't either, but that helps, thanks. Oh, nice, Deanna. Hi, Carmela. Thank you, and to you. Thank you, enjoy. That's sweet. You are beautiful too. Yeah, you're really beautiful. I think that's your picture standing next to the heart. Very sweet picture. Might not be you though. It might be your avatar. Can I chat? I think I'm going to end it now, Miss Ams, but I'd be delighted to speak with you on Sunday if you write to me again on Sunday. I think that's enough for this evening. So thanks, guys. It was beautiful to share with you. Where are you? Yeah, it was really beautiful to share with you. And I wish you a happy day or evening. And I wish you everything. Like, screw the evening on the day. Let's just go for everything. I wish you a happy everything. Lots of love. Goodbye. And may the force be with you.